pretty getting involved, either end, either team. Did it seem disjointed to you, like there was a difficulty getting a flow for both teams, perhaps because there were a lot of stoppages and things?
A little bit. I feel like the volume of fouls, you know, made it erratic. I think some of that's on us. We probably fouled three-point shooters. You know, Markel had a few. It's a great learning experience for him. But you try to balance that aggression with, you know, being smart. Benny's trying to be aggressive, and they had the foul before the ball was inbounded, and we let one go. We let one go. You know, we were up 7, I think, in the third period, and you felt like, you know, with a few more baskets that they might have gone away. And I give the Celtics credit, but I really feel like we let one slip.
Right, you guys obviously have a young team, played really well against Washington offensively. Tonight you struggled a little bit. Is that going to be part of the process this season? Some nights you're good, some nights you're bad offensively?
Probably we're going to have this conversation on both sides, and I hope it balances out where it's, you know, a more consistent expectation. You can sort of, you know, hope that there's stuff you know you're going to get. I think our guys struggled in the second half. I thought Dario had a really good first half, and I decided to go with him at a 5-man in the second half. You know, I thought he had a rough second half. Joel, probably the most difficult offensive game he's had as a Philadelphia 76er. We had people down, and you know, it's stuff that we're going to have to figure out as time unfolds.
Dario struggled with the week, but he's been struggling from the three for the last 2 games now, but he played really well inside tonight. Do you want him to continue to gain his confidence on the inside?
It's a decision you make as the coach when you're on the sideline and you're wondering, for example, do you go with Amir or Dario? And I felt the way Dario was playing in the first half. In this type of game, it was a small ball game, and Horford picking and popping and having the ability to shoot threes, that it made sense in our mind. And I think in general, Dario does have that luxury to restrict him only inside and not, you know, hopefully tap into what I think is a part of his skill package, although it hasn't shown up in the regular season. We did see it in preseason. I don't think that. I just think that his versatility at times as a 5 can bother teams and help us.
How do you think Jared?
Jared?
Yeah, Jared.
Jared Bayless, you know, I thought he chased Kyrie around. I thought, you know, JJ to me, Jared to me, those two veteran backcourt guys I thought were solid, as they were in Washington. After that, you're going to probably have to search a little bit to find somebody that had a complete.
When you look at a game like this that was close through 3 quarters and a 2 fourth, what do you look at that you say, we had done this if we had done that?
I mean, my mind goes to stops and not fouling. In this one, I think that we fouled too much. And I think that when we look back, you know, there's going to be some offensive possessions that, you know, we could have done better. We could have executed better. Perhaps we could have got Joe, you know, more the ball down. He had the most shots out of anybody on the team. But my belief is that we fouled too much, and I think the execution of some of the things offensively we did need work.
Red Denver, you talk about before maybe being could have finished a little bit more in Washington. Would you see something similar tonight, but maybe you should have been a little bit more aggressive?
I think it's part of Ben's evolution going forward, because he really does do an amazing job of getting to the rim. He can get close to the rim. And so is it one more dribble? Is it more coming to jump stops? Is it more like up and under and going through people and looking for more and ones? It's all part of it. But the good news is that he's got a skill that gets him there, and now we've got to help develop him to finish once he gets there.
What would you attribute Joel's issues to tonight? Is it still part of coming back and, you know, working and getting the game shape?
I think that more than anything, you know, when I'm watching him, it's a evolution with him and his fitness base. and it's not there. He'd be the first to admit it. And so trying to grow him where we can get him where he can play what he ended up with, 28 minutes it looks like. I look forward to seeing the loading and that range that I get given at the end of games. But I feel like his fitness base influences it a lot.
You mentioned more worrying about him not being cleared for his vaccine. Is he not going to play tomorrow?
He's not going to play tomorrow. That's right.
Well, Boston didn't have any fast break points, which is good in a certain way from here. But that means you gave up 102 in a totally half-court game, which is a lot. I know there's a lot of balls scored on the dead clock. I really play scored on the dead clock. When you talk positional defense and fouling too much, are you reaching, or are you just not being in the position you need to be in?
See, I hear your point about the fast break points. We all we will look at that, like the 102 points you take against that team a lot. It's unusual that it came evidently all in half court. I think that we're trying to place too much with our hands. I think that we just ended up fouling too much. I thought we got lifted at times on our fakes. I thought we grabbed too much. It was an unusual game, I thought, in relation to how it was called. But I feel like we have to do a better job of showing the refs our hands.
Right, you said it was a small ball game tonight, but you went big for a lot of playing Sarge, Simmons, and Amir Johnson together. What did you see from that?
Well, it was really, when you looked at when they went bigger, we went bigger. The matchup that I didn't like was Jaylen Brown and Sarge. He did a good job of chasing Jason Tatum around. And so when, Jaylen was the 4, I opted to go with Justin Anderson. I think that with the big ball, if that's what we're going to call it, we'll probably have more law and order into our structure. And I think that when you move Dario over to a 5, because it's new in the year, there's a little bit of uncertainty at times with play calls. I think just the familiarity when you go just traditional big ball at this stage of the year is simpler for these guys.
Two more guys.
You guys had some struggles on the defensive glass again. What are you seeing there?
I think our guards have to come in and get some of those long rebounds. I think our interior people really have to do a better job of not getting moved. I feel that there are some, the combination of those two things, long rebounds that our guards have to rebound in that free throw area. And I think that at times, Baines, who I know well, got the better of some of our interior people.
Brett, I know you're trying to grow Markel to play more off the ball so that he can play with Ben and be versatile for you. When you see him make plays like he did in the pick and roll tonight, like on the one to dump off the Joel, is there any thought to give him more of the reins running that second unit, or is that something you're going to change?
I think that it's going to be something that we put him more in pick and rolls, to try to get him more in the middle of the floor. How we do that, I see it quite clearly. I think lately just trying to get him up and down the floor and get his fitness base and find some level of confidence has been most on my mind. But I agree with you, he has a skill that we have to tap into there. Thank you.